وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت يا حي يا قيوم تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا اللهم ذكرنا ما نسينا وعلمنا ما جهلنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من حال أهل النار لله تعالى. I praise Allah, I glorify Him, I thank Him for all the blessings that He gives without being obligated to give anything. And I ask Allah Ta'ala to raise the rank of our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and to protect His Muslim nation. I testify that no one deserves to be worshipped except Allah, the one without a partner, the one without an equal, the one without a similar, the one who is unlike anything in the universe and nothing in the universe is like Him. He has no father, no mother, no sister, no brother, no son, and no daughter. He exists without time and place because He is the creator of time and place. He does not reside above the throne and He is not attributed with fatigue like the Jews say. Our Lord is glorified beyond any imperfection that the non-Muslims attribute to Him. Whatever you imagine in your mind, Allah Ta'ala does not resemble that. And whoever attributes an attribute of the creations to Allah is outside of Islam. And I testify that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the son of Abdullah, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the son of Hashim, the son of Abdul Manaf from the tribe of Quraysh, is the best creation of Allah and His final prophet and messenger, sent to all humans and jinn, and He is truthful about everything He conveyed of revelation. Thereafter, remind ourselves to have a sincere intention for the sake of Allah in attending this session of Islamic knowledge, because having a sincere intention is a requirement to get the reward. So the Muslim, whenever he does a good deed, he has to have the sincere intention for the sake of Allah to get reward for that good deed. The reward is defined as the compensation that the Muslim receives in the hereafter for the good deeds that he did in this life among what makes him happy. An example of the reward that is guaranteed to the righteous Muslim in the grave, that his grave is expanded approximately 105 feet by 105 feet, and his grave is illuminated with a light similar to the light of the full moon, and the fragrance of paradise will be present in the grave. The sincere intention means for the Muslim to do the good deed, seeking the acceptance of Allah only, and not the praise of the people. So we say Alhamdulillah, we are grateful to Allah that He has guided us to Islam, that He has opened our hearts to accepting Islam. And we are grateful to Allah and we are happy that He has granted us access to the authentic knowledge with the connected chains of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Because the knowledge of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah is the key to paradise and it is the life of Islam. And with that knowledge, the Muslim, he can battle against the devils amongst the humans and amongst the jinn, and he can make sure that he reaches his objective of making it to paradise. And we're grateful and thankful to Allah that He has willed for us to be among those who attend the circles of knowledge, because they are blessed. As the Prophet ﷺ informed us that he said, he named the sessions of knowledge gardens of paradise. And he also informed us that the angels, they surround the sessions of knowledge from the first earth to the first heaven. And there are special blessings and mercies that descend on the people who attend those sessions of knowledge. Even if the person wasn't paying attention, even if the person was sleeping, even if it was an infant, a baby, they get some of that special mercy and blessing just for being in the presence or inside the session of knowledge. So congratulations and good news for the one who was granted the ability to do that good deed. So we're continuing talking about what we are obligated to believe in among the matters of the unforeseen that the Prophet ﷺ told us about. And this goes in line with believing in Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that he is a prophet, meaning that he received the revelation and he is truthful about everything that he conveyed. So among what we're obligated to believe in is seeing Allah Ta'ala while in paradise, while we are in paradise. So the Muslim, when he is in paradise, he will be granted the ability to see Allah, unlike the creation is seen. That means without a direction, without a place, without having an image, without a body, without volume, without any of the attributes of the human or the creations. Because when we look at something here in this world, it has to be with those specifications. When you look at someone or something, you're looking in a direction. And that thing that you're looking at is either far away or close. And that thing that you're looking at, it has an image, it has a size, it has a shape, it has a color. And so that is how we see creations. But when the Muslim sees Allah, while the Muslim is in paradise, when he sees Allah, it will be unlike the creation. So what does that mean? Number one, it means that you cannot imagine it. Number two, it means that Allah will give the eyes of the Muslims in paradise. Allah will give the eyes of the Muslims in paradise the power, the ability to see Allah, the one who is unlike the creation. And so the Muslim, when he sees Allah, he will know for sure, without a doubt, that he is seeing Allah. Now, of course, that's something that we cannot imagine now. It's something that we cannot picture, because we cannot picture Allah. But we have to believe in it. Why? Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam informed us about that. يجب على كل مكلف الإيمان برؤية الله تعالى بالعين في الآخرة لأنها حق وهي خاصة بالمؤمنين. فبعض الناس ممن لم يكن مكلفا عند الموت، إما أنه كان مجنونا أو إما أنه مات دون البلوغ، وإما أنه كان عاقلا بالغا لكن ما بلغته دعوة الإسلام، ما بلغه أصل دعوة الإسلام، فهو ليس مكلفا. فهذا الإنسان العاقل البالغ الذي ما بلغه أصل دعوة الإسلام ومات على ذلك، لو كان نصرانيا أو يهوديا أو ملحدا، هذا في الآخرة لا يحاسب لأنه ليس من أهل التكليف، فهذا يدخل الجنة ولا يعذب، هو من أهل النجاة. لكن هذا الفرد، يعني هذا الواحد من أهل النجاة، لا يرى الله تعالى وهو في الجنة. هذا خاص، يعني رؤية الله تعالى في الآخرة وخاص بالمؤمنين، أو هي خاصة بالمؤمنين. One thing about seeing Allah in the hereafter is that it's specific to the Muslims. Why do we say that? We say that because if a person, they die without being accountable, like let's say there was a Christian child, right? He was like 10 years old, he's not pubescent, his parents are Christian, he's an altar boy, he helps every Sunday with the kufr that they do, but he's not accountable because he's not pubescent. And that 10-year-old boy, he was walking down the street and he got hit by a car, he died. So he's not a Muslim, but because he's not accountable, he's not going to be tortured in the hereafter. He is going to be saved because he's not. Nothing was written on him. Nothing was written against him because he's not accountable. He died without being predestined. And as you know, the conditions for accountability in the hereafter are three: sane, pubescent, and receive the basic message of Islam. So if a 10-year-old Christian dies, even if he was an altar boy, in the hereafter, he's going to go to paradise because he's not accountable. But because he doesn't have the judgment of a Muslim, he will not get to see Allah. Seeing Allah in the hereafter is specific to the Muslim. So the Muslims, they will see Allah Ta'ala while they are in paradise without a how, without resembling the creation, and not in a direction. Just as Al-Imam Abu Hanifa radiallahu anhu documented that. وهذا مهم. الإمام أبو حنيفة رضي الله عنه نص على أن المؤمنين يرون الله تعالى بلا كيف ولا تشبيه ولا جهة، فهو من السلف. فهؤلاء الذين يدعون أنهم سلفية وهم ليسوا كذلك، ولا يجوز تسميتهم بذلك لأنها فيها الإيهام أنهم يتبعون السلف، وفي الحقيقة لا يتبعون السلف. فهؤلاء يدعون أنهم يتبعون السلف. فها هو الإمام أبو حنيفة رضي الله عنه من علماء السلف ومن أجل أئمة السلف، نص على أنه تعالى لا يكون في جهة ولا مكان، إنما المسلمون في مكانهم في الجنة يرون الله تعالى رؤية لا يكون عليهم فيها اشتباه، ولا يشكون هل الذي رأوه هو الله أم غيره. Another important thing to mention about this is that there are some ignorant people that they hear a hadith and they misunderstand that hadith, and they think, because of that misunderstanding, they think that Allah looks like the moon, which is blasphemy. It takes the person outside of Islam. But this shows you the danger of reading on your own. So what is the hadith? The Prophet ﷺ, and the hadith, it's not saying that Allah will appear like the moon. And the hadith is saying that just like us on this earth, when we see the full moon, and mashallah, if you saw the moon tonight, right before you came to Musalla, you can see it was beautiful. And it's almost completely full. But yeah, when you see the full moon in the sky, in the night sky, here on earth, when we see the moon, you don't doubt that you're seeing the moon. You don't say, oh, what's that up there? You know it's not a cloud, you know it's not the sun, you know it's not a star, it's the moon. For sure you know it, it's 100%, without a doubt. So the Prophet ﷺ, he was emphasizing the certainty of knowing that what the Muslims will see in paradise is Allah. The certainty, he drew similarity between the certainty, not in the image. Because there are some people, subhanAllah, they quote this hadith and they say, look, Allah, the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah will look like the moon. And we say, no, that's not what it says. So I'm going to read the hadith and then explain. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنكم سترون ربكم يوم القيامة كما ترون القمر ليلة البدر لا تضامون في رؤيته. رواه مسلم. أي لا تتزاحمون في رؤيته، وفي رواية لا تضامون، أي لا يلحقكم ضرر. فالرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم شبه رؤيتنا له من حيث عدم الشك، يعني شبه رؤيتنا لله من حيث عدم الشك برؤية القمر ليلة البدر. وَلَمْ يُشَبِّهِ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى بِالْقَمَرِ كَمَا يَزْعُمُ بَعْضُ الْجُهَّالِ. نعم. Subhanallah. So the hadith says, surely you shall see your Lord in the hereafter, just as, or the literal meaning, just as you see the moon on a full moon night. ليلة البدر يعني في الليلة التي لا يوجد سحاب والقمر يكون تماما. So in Arabic, Laylatul Badr, it means the full moon night, when the moon appears and there's no clouds and the moon is full. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّكُمْ سَتَرَوْنَ رَبَّكُمْ, indeed you shall see your Lord in the hereafter, just as you see the moon on a full moon night. You do not crowd each other to see it. So that's one narration. لَا تَضَامُّونَ. It means that the people will not all crowd together to see, right? Because let's say if there was, let's say, an accident on the road, and there's the car is destroyed, and it looks like there's body parts. People will come and they're gonna look. They're all gonna focus on that one spot. So they're gonna crowd each other to see what's happening, because they have to focus on that one spot. But when the Muslims, they see Allah, they won't have to crowd each other to see Allah, because Allah Ta'ala exists without a direction. And there's another narration that says, لَا تُضَامُونَ, which means that they won't be harmed. So the Prophet ﷺ, in his eloquent, articulate style of speaking, which is known to the Arabs, it helps to solidify information in the heart and to have an impact when you hear those words. So the Prophet ﷺ was explicitly emphasizing that just as you right now, when you look at the full moon, on the night of the full moon, you're not doubting that that's the moon. Just as you don't doubt when you see the full moon at night, the Muslim will not doubt when he is in paradise that he is seeing Allah. May Allah Ta'ala make us among those, Ameen. And that is the greatest enjoyment that the Muslim experiences in paradise. I mean, the most enjoyable thing. And depending on your status as a Muslim, depending on your the quality of your Islam, then you will see Allah more. So not everyone will see Allah with the same frequency. We're also obligated to believe that the dwelling will be forever in those two places, in paradise and hellfire. That the people of paradise, once they enter, they'll never get out, and they'll be there forever, and it'll never end. And the accountable non-Muslims that enter hellfire, they will be there forever, and it will never end, and they never extinguish, and it never stops. So always remember that when you're going through something difficult in this world, and you're tempted to sin, that you should hold on and be patient, because no matter what kind of suffering you're going through in this world, it's temporary. It's going to end. And it's nothing compared to the suffering of the hereafter. Because once the Muslim is in paradise, once he experiences the enjoyment of the hereafter, he's going to forget all the pain. Even in this life, right? If you are going through pain or going through a tough time, but then something happens that makes you happy or something enjoyable, you experience something enjoyable, you don't remember that pain. That pain, you forget it. And the same thing with also like experiencing pain. All the pleasure that you experienced before, when you have that toothache, you're not really thinking about all the pleasure that you had before. When you get sick, let's say you have a fever or some sort of flu, you're not remembering all those good times that you had. All you're focusing on now is the pain that you're going through. And that's how it is in the dunya. So, but in the hereafter, the bliss is forever. We have to believe also in the angels, that they exist and that they are honored slaves, right? Honored slaves, ibad. So the Arabic term abid, and it's indicating being owned, and being a possession. So the proper way to translate abid or Abdullah is slave of Allah, not servant, as some ignorant people do, subhanAllah. I don't understand that. Because the term abid is referring to the slave, and the one who is owned, the one who is property. We are the property of Allah. Us and what we own is owned by Allah. Us and what we have is the property of Allah. And so some creations, they are honored by Allah, and those are the angels. And they are light bodies. And their bodies are made of light. So what are our bodies made of? The young Muslims, please raise your hand. What are the human bodies made of? Yes, sir. Clay. So that is, and this is a bonus question for whoever wants to answer. The clay is a mixture of what?
Water and soil.
Water and soil, but water from where? Which water? Not saying.
Paradise.
Water from paradise, from the original water, mashallah. So, the original man, Prophet Adam alayhi salam, the soil of this earth was mixed with some of that original water, and a clay was made, and his body was molded. And the body of Prophet Adam alayhi salam was created in its final form, which is about 90 feet tall. And he was a perfectly proportionate, fully grown, complete body. And so that's the meaning of إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَلَقَ آدَمَ عَلَى صُورَتِهِ أي عَلَى صُورَتِهِ التَّامَّةِ. So meaning that Prophet Adam alayhi salam, he wasn't created like, for example, as a baby, and then he grew and developed and changed until he reached his final form. Rather, Prophet Adam alayhi salam was created in his final form from the beginning. So that's what it means, the hadith. Indeed, Allah Ta'ala created Adam upon his final image. And some people misunderstand that hadith, and they claim that Allah has an image and that Allah created Adam in that image. So that's why those people who they liken Allah to the creation, they say that Allah has hands, and they say that Allah has a face, and they say that Allah has eyes. Just today, I attended this Quran competition in Pompano. And it was a young guy talking before the competition, explaining and things like that. And he was just saying how we should correct our intention, etc. And he said something, a statement that is bad and wrong. And he basically said the eyes of Allah. Because he's ignorant, obviously, subhanAllah. But that shows you the level of importance of learning the knowledge of the creed and teaching it and spreading it. There wasn't a lot of people there, but just imagine the people there that when they heard him say that, they believed something that was blasphemous. The people that heard him say it. So, it's, if that person in the English language, they really thought that the word eyes has another meaning besides the organ, and according to the rule, if he thought the word eyes in the English language means something other than this organ, and it had a meaning, and he thought it had a meaning that befit Allah, then he wouldn't be judged as a kafir. But it's not permissible to say it. But that shows the level of importance of learning the knowledge that we're learning right now. But there are people that really believe that Allah has organs, and it's because of their misunderstanding of these types of hadith that we mentioned. Like, إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَلَقَ آدَمَ عَلَى صُورَتِهِ فيظنون أن الضمير يعود إلى الله والعياذ بالله. لكن ليس كذلك. الضمير لا يعود إلى الله في هذه الجملة. إن الله خلق آدم على صورة آدم. على صورته يعني على الضمير راجع إلى آدم. على صورة آدم يعني في خلقته التامة. يعني ما خلق مثلنا في مثلا مرحلة هكذا كالطفل ثم يتطور شيئا فشيئا حتى يصبح رجلا كبيرا. لا، بل خلق من الأول في تلك الصورة، يعني في صورته التامة. Anyway, that was a digression. But the point is that it's important to learn. It's important to spread the knowledge. No matter, you don't have to have a PhD, you don't have to have a master's degree, you don't have to be a sheikh. Teach everyone. It's a simple, basic part of our creed. Allah is not like us. Allah is not a human. We're not Christians. We're not Jews. We don't say these things about the Creator. Whatever has organs, whatever has a face, whatever has eyes, whatever has hands is a creation. The word hands, you don't find it anywhere in the Quran, because the Quran is revealed in the Arabic language. The word that you find is yad. So what does yad mean in Arabic? 15 different meanings. So how are you going to say hand in English for yad? We said about ayn before. We talked about ayn. Ayn is one of those words too that has multiple meanings. Remember we gave the example of the three meanings? The word ayn in Arabic, ayn, ya, noon, same word, same spelling, same exact pronunciation. It can mean the eye, like the eyeball, the pupil, and it can mean a spy, like James Bond, and it can mean a spring of water, like the water that comes from the ground when you drink it. And the letter ayn, yeah. But the example that I use is the sentence. In Arabic, you can say, I saw an ayn with my ayn, and I drank from an ayn. Same word. But in English, you can't say, I saw an eye with my eye, and I drank from an eye, because then now nobody's going to understand what you're saying. But in Arabic, you can say the same exact word, ayn, and it'll mean these three different things. I saw a spy with my eye, and I drank from a spring. In English, it wouldn't fit if you use the same word in all three places. But in Arabic, it will, because the word itself has those three different meanings. So why do those people insist when they supposedly translate? Why do they insist on saying the word I? Because they have that belief. They think that Allah is like us, or the other. No. So we have to believe in the angels, that they are light bodies, and they always obey Allah, and they are the true, non-binary, because they are not males and they are not females. So that does exist, but amongst the angels, not amongst the human beings. Amongst the human beings, it's one or the other. So the angels, they have no gender, and they never disobey Allah. And they don't eat, and they don't sleep, and they don't drink, and they don't reproduce. So angels are different from us in many ways. And they are all pious, they are all righteous. And we have to believe in the message of all the prophets and messengers that were sent to this earth, that all of them came with that Islam. And we have to believe that everything that occurs in this universe is by the will of Allah. That both good and evil, they occur because Allah willed for it to happen. And so this is a concept that many people, they get confused about it, even though it's simple. Allah Ta'ala does whatever He wills. He is not judged, He is not questioned. The arrogant non-Muslims, when they see a tragedy happen, when they see, let's say, an earthquake happen, when they see that there's a baby that's in an incubator suffering from some rare sickness, they say, oh, why did God let this happen? Na'udhu billah. Because they have corrupt hearts and they blaspheme. And so the real question is that, or the real thing to say is that we cannot question Allah. He is the Creator. No, he is not judged. He is not held responsible because he is the one that has the absolute authority. So so the fact that bad things happen in this world and the fact that they happen by the will of Allah is not a point of criticism for Allah. And no one can criticize Allah for that because He is the creator. He is the true owner. And He does whatever He wills. And since everything is His, then He is not attributed with injustice. Because what is injustice is doing with others' property what they don't accept. This is injustice. And Allah Ta'ala owns everything is His property. So no one can claim that He is attributed with injustice. Rather, the reaction that a person should have whenever tragedy strikes, like an earthquake and many people die, or if there is a child that's born with a rare disease and he's suffering and they die in an incubator, what the person should ask himself, or the way that the person should react, is humbling himself to Allah. Understanding and realizing that Allah Ta'ala is in control of everything and He's the owner of everything and He has power over all things. So you have to make sure that you don't do injustice and not react in an arrogant way. No. And this subject is a long, deep subject. Maybe one day we'll go more deep into it. But the point is that whatever Allah wills to be shall be, and whatever Allah did not will to be shall not be. And everything that occurs in this universe, it occurs by the will of Allah, both good and evil. And Allah accepts the good, and He orders for goodness to be done, and He does not accept the evil, and He forbids the evil. And we have to believe also that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the best of all humans and the best of all creations. And this is agreed upon by the scholars. They have a consensus about this. And it is taken from the hadith that is narrated by Tirmidhi. أنا سيد ولد آدم يوم القيامة ولا فخر. أي لا أقول ذلك افتخارا. إنما أقول تحدثا بنعمة الله. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I am the best of all humans on Judgment Day, and I don't say that boasting. And I don't say that out of bragging. Rather, I say it mentioning the endowment of Allah upon me. It's called تحدثا بنعمة الله. So this is something good to do. Like when you talk about, when you mention that Allah Ta'ala gave you a certain blessing, a certain endowment, not out of boasting, not out of bragging, but you're just mentioning the endowment of Allah upon you, this is okay to do. And it is our obligation to believe that each prophet has to be attributed with honesty, with trustworthiness, and with intelligence, above average intelligence. Hence, it is impossible that they be attributed with lying and deceit, or lying and betrayal, and having the attributes of the low people. And it is impossible that they be attributed with foolishness or dumbness or stupidity, and cowardice, and anything that repels people away. Because the prophets, they were sent to attract people. So they are physically attractive, they're the best looking, and character-wise, they have the best character. So you know how someone, they can have a beautiful appearance. They might be good looking on the outside, but their personality is trash. When you hear them talk, you feel you feel repelled because of the way they talk and the way that they sound. Because they're full of themselves, because they're conceited, because they think that they're above others. Because and you know that it's a human thing, it's a human experience. And there are people that their physical appearance is not, let's say, will be considered beautiful, but because of their personality and because of their golden personality, and they're so beautiful. And you look at them and you feel that within your heart. The prophets, they were equipped with both things, the external and the internal beauty. So when you look at them, it's the best looking creation you've ever seen. And when you experience them, their personality, you have and you know that it's the best personality. So they're the most humble, they're the most generous, they're the most compassionate, they're the most kind, they're the most patient, they're the most slow to anger. And in all the things that are considered to be ideal qualities of the human, the prophets are endowed with those. And so this is an important part of our creed. Especially knowing for sure that the prophets, they are protected from lying. And that they're not attributed with lying. Because if someone were to say that it's possible for a prophet to lie, then they would be tarnishing the credibility of their message. Then anybody can come and easily say, well, how do we know the prophet wasn't lying about this? How do we know the prophet wasn't lying about that? But they would shake the foundations of Islam. So all the prophets, they are protected from lying. That is a defect that is not suitable, is not commensurate with the office of prophethood. Yani, if you think about it deeper, it's like saying what? It's like whoever says that a prophet is a liar, it's as if they are saying Allah is a fool. Because Allah is the one who sent the prophets. So if He sent someone who's a liar, this would be negating wisdom. And negating wisdom is the opposite of the wise one is a fool. So whoever says or believes that a prophet was a liar or that he lied, it's as if he's saying that Allah is a fool. Because Allah sent that prophet. He chose him to receive the revelation, to transmit the message to the people. So to choose someone that is a liar, would that be wise or foolish? The one who says that, it's as if he's saying that Allah is a fool. And so it would be kufr. So the person cannot be a Muslim if he thinks that a prophet could tell a lie. And we'll talk more details about this, inshallah, in the next class. But there's some details. Some people, they think that Prophet Ibrahim told a lie. He did not. This is why we're fixated on this point. The prophets, they do not lie. So what happened with Prophet Ibrahim is not Islamically judged as a lie. And the definition of a lie is what is saying the opposite of reality while being aware, while knowing that that's not the case. So what happened with Prophet Ibrahim when he said about his wife Sarah, "Innaha ukhti," and it's not a lie, neither technically nor religiously. Why? Because she is in fact his sister in Islam. And "Innaha ukhti" means she is my sister. But he didn't say she's my sister from my mother, my father, my blood sister. He didn't say she's my blood sister. He said she's my sister. Yani, my sister in Islam. The fact that the one who's listening to him automatically assumes that he means sister by blood, that's his own issue. That's his own issue. So, we'll talk in detail about that next time, inshallah. But the fact is, no prophets ever lied. No prophets ever told a lie. Wallahu a'lam. Are there any questions about that before we conclude? طيب نهلل لا إله إلا الله اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم ربي اغفر لي وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات بارك الله فيكم السلام عليكم